I've had dreams. Big ones. I wanted success, comfort, and the kind of life that would make people say, he made it. But for a long time, I was my own biggest obstacle. I'd get motivated, make plans, feel inspired, and then tell myself, I'll start tomorrow. If you've ever been ambitious but lazy, I know how you feel. And this story I'm about to share isn't fiction. It's a reflection of my life. Many years ago, I lived in a quiet little village. I was strong, healthy, and full of dreams. I'd tell my friends, one day my field will shine golden with crops. People will come to me for advice. I'll be the best farmer in this village. Everyone admired my confidence. But the truth? I was lazy. When the sun rose, other farmers were already in their fields. I stayed in bed. When men worked under the hot sun, I sat in the shade, talking about my future. When the women carried water from the well, I'd say, I'll do it later. I loved talking about success, but I hated doing the work that success required. One evening, my uncle, a wise old farmer, came to visit me. He looked at my empty land and said, "My son, you talk about golden crops, but your field is empty." I laughed. "Uncle, don't worry, I'll start tomorrow. My land will be the best. Just wait." He smiled softly, that kind of smile older men give when they know better. And he said nothing. Then he reached into his pocket and pulled out 2 small bags. He said, "These are not ordinary seeds. The first one is the ambition seed. If you plant and water it daily, it will grow into a tree that gives fruit, shade, and wealth. The second is the laziness seed. It grows fast, but it spreads weeds that destroy everything." He handed them to me and said, "Your future depends on which one you choose to care for." I smiled and said, "Of course, I'll plant the ambition seed." But the next morning I felt tired. "I'll do it tomorrow," I said again. Days passed. Out of boredom, I planted both seeds, thinking it wouldn't matter. And then I forgot all about them. I spent my days sleeping, gossiping, and dreaming about success that never came. Weeks later, I went to check my field. What I saw shocked me. The laziness seed had grown wild. Thick weeds covered the soil, choking everything. The ambition seed was weak, small, almost dead. My uncle saw the mess and said, "This is your life, my son. Ambition is like a small seed. It needs care, effort, and daily action. Without work, it dies. But laziness grows on its own. It spreads fast, and it destroys everything it touches." I fell to my knees. Tears filled my eyes as I held the dying seed. For the first time, I understood. Dreams are not enough. Only action keeps them alive. That night I couldn't sleep. I thought about all the time I'd wasted, the promises I'd broken, the chances I'd lost. I whispered to myself, if I don't change now, laziness will own me forever. The next morning, before sunrise, I woke up. I walked to my field. I started pulling out the weeds with my bare hands. My back ached, my fingers bled, but I didn't stop. I watered the ambition seed every single day. Days became months. Months turned into years. And slowly, that little seed grew strong. It became a beautiful tree, tall, full of fruit, full of shade, full of life. And I changed, too. I became known as the man who fought his laziness and won. People came to me for advice. They saw my fields full of crops, but what they didn't see was the battle I fought inside. Because that field, that tree, it wasn't just about farming. It was about me. It was about who I decided to become. Now I'm 40 years old. I've built a life I once only dreamed of. but I've never forgotten that lesson.